Hello there. I hope we're all doing well this Monday afternoon. Apologies, it's been a week. It's been a week. So let's start off with that. So last week was half term, which affects my wife because she's a teacher. Doesn't in theory affect our toddler because she has year-round nursery care, so essentially we pay regardless. But I took it off as annual leave. No particular plans at the time I booked it, but because of the hectic move last summer, we didn't get as much done around the house, so I figured actually us being off at the same time, potentially with child in nursery, is probably very, very useful for getting stuff done. And also not getting stuff done. As a point, it is nice, to actually have some time without, a million things, including a 4-year-old demanding your attention. So my original plan, as I am terribly want to do, was, to do a bit of this and that, just get some stuff done in the house, possibly do some more streaming. I was kind of hopeful when last I streamed that I would maybe be able to do a longer gaming stream during the day or something. And that was the intention, but I am terrible for overcommitting to stuff. I seem to forget the fact I am only a single person with limited time, limited energy, and limited brain cells. So I kind of made a decision quite last minute on Monday, I must admit, that I wasn't going to stream. I wasn't going to do my kind of regular stream. I was going to kind of take the week off to recharge the batteries, which was somewhat successful. It was, we got some stuff done around the house, which is really good. So, despite the current state of my office, which you can see bits of, we did manage to get some stuff around the house that needed doing, which is really good. And then the second half of the week was kind of family stuff. We unexpectedly on Wednesday had to take my father-in-law to a funeral. Now it's not someone I knew, and I think my wife did know them. The deceased, that is, not my father-in-law. Clearly, we both know him. But we ended up driving him, or rather, my wife ended up driving him because I do not drive, to Oxfordshire, which is a bit of a drive. But I came along because, quite moral and spousal support. But yeah, so that was Wednesday. So it wasn't too bad as funerals go, but it was a lot in a day. Then my mum came to visit us, which was nice because we've not seen her since just after Christmas. Sometimes between Christmas and New Year, so which is great. My mum lives the other side of London to us, so she's not too far away, but we've all been busy. So our little one loved seeing Nanny, which was great. And then at the weekend, kind of immediately after that, we went up to Derbyshire to visit my dad, who again I've not seen since before Christmas. Good afternoon, Papaya. I hope we are well. It's really good to see you here. I hope you're having a great day. I was just kind of recapping the week of semi-relaxing from last week. So got some stuff done around the house, and then lots and lots of family stuff. We managed to see the whole set of grandparents in the space of about a few days. But we got back from my dad's yesterday. It's about a 3-hour drive to my dad's in Derbyshire, kind of 3.5 when you include obvious traffic that might happen around the M25 and the M1. We left a little later than we intended to, so we got in about 5:30ish, and then we were just kind of wiped. But fortunately, our little one, she wasn't too bad in going to bed. We've been trying to kind of put in place a new routine with her bedtime of essentially pajamas. Then she does her inhaler, have a drink, go to the loo, brush the teeth, choose bedtime stories, read stories, go to sleep. That last set is really easy to say, and sometimes it doesn't work so well, but we're getting there. She is a stubborn little thing. We love her dearly, but that's a good grief. When she is overtired and trying to push not going to bed, that is tough, and it's one of those things which I'm sure any parents out there will know this one well. It is so tempting to take the easy way out sometimes, but it's okay, we're only gonna be able to establish this bedroom routine if we stick to it. And it is a slog sometimes. Some nights she's absolutely great, some nights it is an absolute slog. It really is. But we're hoping it'll pay dividends. Because once she's into a better bedtime routine, it's better. Well, it's better for her. She gets a better night's sleep, and it's better for us because we get more of an evening. If we can, guarantee as far as you can, with a small human being that if we try and get her down at 7, then by 8 at the latest, we actually have a bit of time, which is nice. That's the plan. We'll let you know how that goes. So battery's partially recharged, but because of the funeral we had to shift when we were going to my dad's, so that meant obviously coming back yesterday and then back into work today. So it would have been nice to have had a day of nothing in between the two, but it is what it is. So I'm all right, but actually, it's probably, I think I may have mentioned before, my dad is a vicar. He's a minister. So, and I don't know if the two go hand in hand, but, he kind of has a sense of calm around him. And his wife, their places are always very, very zen, it's very nice to, our house is inevitably chaos at all times, no matter how much we try. So going to my dad's is very good for, relaxing. So yes, batteries partially recharged, certainly more charged than they were leading into the half-term break. But I'm back, and I'm trying to get back to, business as usual, what we're actually intending to do, and try and get back into a bit of routine on this without leading to catastrophic burnout. I think that's my problem. I try and do too much of everything and burn myself out. So let's try and get back into the regular routine. Let's try and get a regular gaming stream in there rather than lastminute.com, and then that'll be better and more entertaining for everyone. So let's try and do that before I overcommit to other stuff. Other news. Stuff's progressing on Stuff of Legends, which is the next little bit of Facebook. I'm feeling really good about this. It seems to have jumped. So I'm just going to sort my back out a little bit because I'm slouching too much. I'm feeling really good about Stuff of Legends. It's kind of gone from it must have gone past that tipping point. I was doing little bits and pieces of it, kind of dabbling in it. And I'm like, I'm doing little bits here, but I really need to sit down and kind of work on the bulk of it, the main content of it. And I'm telling you this, I've kind of done most of it. It's I'm kind of pleased where this is going. So the priest class is complete. That's the class, the traits, the spells, and the spells took a really long time. That's all done. The 8 new kin that you get in it, and that's expanded from the original 4 that were going to be in it. The mechanics are done. I've just got to finish writing some of kind of the lore around them, but that's not too bad because Little Book This, it's a very quick blurb about kin on there. I need to do a bit of research on the mythology references on that one, but that's not too bad. That was a bit of a deep dive into Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology, and a little bit of Celtic mythology. I had to put in those bits, but that's fine. Magic items, I'm feeling in a good place on. I want to expand the list of them. Currently, I think there's about 8 mythological items I'm including so far. I'd like to expand it to about a dozen. But I posted about that on Ko-Fi. So if you're curious on that, take a look at that. But that's going well. The only big thing I need to do left on it is creatures. I haven't really started creatures. I did one just to kind of test my my brain was still working on that. But that's going well. Hey Anya, how are we doing? Lurking today, about to hop on a meeting call. Have a good stream. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Nice to see you here, even if it is only in a lurking capacity. I like your icon. What's that from? TwitchCon 2022 Amsterdam. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. But no, great to sort of see you here. Very much appreciated. Train of thought has derailed. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so creatures. Yeah, so that's the only big bit I need to do from my side of things, or certainly the first draft of it. And I want to include a range of creatures, and I think I will. I'm gonna try my best with the creatures to go kind of get the broadest group of mythologies I can for that one, because the kin in it are mainly Greek and Roman mythology, with a little bit of Norse and a little bit of Celtic in there. But I think creatures is an opportunity to go for broader things. So I want to include some creatures from Chinese mythology and Japanese mythology. Let's try and get some stuff from the Native American culture on there. Let's try and have a broad canvas of mythology in there in terms of the creatures, where there's a lot of things that are maybe not perhaps suitable for playable kin, but they are very interesting creatures to include, providing they are done respectfully. I don't know off the top of my head what the example is that so many games use and they do badly. Oh, what's it called? It starts with a W. I think it's in Red Dead Redemption. It's not a Yeti, because it doesn't start with a W, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. But there are a few creatures from mythology that are included in a lot of games, and they kind of all are based on each other. So that I don't know if it's a lack of research or it's everyone's going back to the same inspiration, which is flawed to begin with. So when I go out of my comfort zone with stuff, because I'm on relatively safe ground, I think, with Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology. I have read enough of them and listened to enough stuff about them and seen enough stuff about that, while I'm definitely going to fact check myself, I think I'm fundamentally pretty safe ground on the fundamentals. But I will always fact check stuff. But going beyond that, I will make sure I do my reading on that one, which won't just be Wikipedia, to make sure that if I'm going to include something, I want to do it right. Which is kind of a principle for everything I do in writing, but I think particularly so with work for children. That could be their first introduction to such things. So let's try and get everything right rather than building in misconceptions at an early age. So that's going well. I'm quite happy with that. I'm not there yet, but I think. It might be kind of mid to end of March. I'm hoping mid-March would be nice to finish that, because then I don't want to pass anything over to the artist until I have finished a first draft, because I don't want her to start working on things that are not going to be needed. And I want to be able to give an appropriate kind of scope of this one in order to sort all that out. But I'm feeling good about this. And I've talked about this before. I've kind of got a bit of a game plan on most of the expansions I want to do for Little But Fierce. And I'm plowing through them pretty well. I'm kind of hoping that the one I'll do after this will be the Bard related one. I had an extra bit of inspiration on that one from Yagman X's morning stream, where there was an awful lot of conversation of things like animals of farthing wood and the like. So I'm really looking forward to the kind of anthropomorphic fuzzy animals with bards on. So I'll need to reach out to the person I'm hoping to collaborate with on that one soon, so we can start talking about that one. I'm kind of hoping that'll be the next one. Otherwise, it'll be the Arthurian one that will introduce a knight, the knight class, which will be the equivalent of paladins. But that's going to be a very different project, because essentially that book is not going to have many bells and whistles in it. That one's going to be the knight class and any extra spells that come with the knight class and extra traits that come with the knight class. And then it's going to be a series of Arthurian one-shots, which can be run as a campaign. So that's going to be a very different thing. That's me getting stuck into doing a lot of adventure writing, which I've dabbled in a bit for a little bit of this. But most of it's been, do the traits, do the spells, do the creatures, do the magic items. It's little self-contained bits. Whereas, okay, I'm going to need to plot out. What I'm thinking will be a 3 or 4 quest mini campaign, which can be run as one-shots. That's going to be quite different to write. So I am looking forward to the challenge of that one. But there's a small element of fear. But you shall see. But that's the best way of working, isn't it? Get a mixture between those two. So I'm happy with this. I mean, the game plan is still that I want to do the main expansions before I really start working on the Kickstarter. Because otherwise, it would be kind of silly doing some of these expansions once the Kickstarter's happened. And the Kickstarter, I know, is going to take so much of my time. So I want to do this properly. Even if that means the Kickstarter doesn't happen until next year or the year after that. I mean, that would be a shame if it gets pushed out that far. But like I said, I want to do this right. But also, it does mean that it's a chance for Little Book Fairs to get more of a following. Because it would be a shame if I did all the work on the Kickstarter and there's not enough word of mouth. There's not enough, kind of existing fan base for that. Because I know the Kickstarter is going to be a huge amount of work. But I'm excited for it. What else? Brief aside on BG3. So just before the week off, I finished my Tactician run of Baldur's Gate 3. So for those of you who haven't been playing it, Tactician is the equivalent of hard difficulty. I enjoyed that. I very much enjoyed that. The difficulty thing is an odd one on Baldur's Gate 3. The start is brutally difficult if you're on a harder difficulty. You really need to pick and choose the fights you're going to do. In the start of Act 1, it is even things that are like, that was a little tricky on the regular difficulty become really hard in Tactician. Act 2 I didn't find too bad. Act 3 I do a little bit of choosing which order to do some of the side quests, but then you hit level 12 about halfway through Act 3 normally, so then it doesn't matter, you're not going to level up anymore. You're just going to have to choose how to do stuff carefully. Occasionally some extra magic items from certain things will help you, but I actually found for most of Act 3 the mindset I got into with playing Tactician meant that they weren't too bad. You really, I think on regular difficulty, I forget what it's called. What is the standard difficulty called? I don't know. Doesn't matter. On the standard difficulty of the game, you can wing it a lot. Even if you're not being that tactical, you can kind of get through it. And maybe you'll come out battered and bruised at the end and go, I didn't do that terribly well, but you got through it. Whereas the Tactician difficulty, as the name suggests, it gets you into a mindset of being way more tactical in what you're doing, rather than slapdash what seem like the best magic items onto certain characters. You're like, oh no, I'm going to go with this because I know this allows me to do that better. It's not quite a ridiculous chain of stuff, but which I'm sure you can do using things like kind of the lightning charges condition and stuff like that. So I'm not at that level, but you get so used to playing in a very tactical fashion that it wasn't too bad at all. What I'm not going to do, I don't think, is play Honor Mode. For those who don't know, Honor Mode is kind of like an Iron Man mode that they have in other games. So essentially, it's Tactician difficulty plus a little bit harder, and then you can't die. If you get a TPK, a total party kill, you can't reload. You've lost. That's it. And I get that some people find that fun, but given the amount of time I get to game, I get to game in the evenings when at the very least my toddler has gone to bed, and normally it's after my wife's gone to bed as well. So I'm playing for a couple of hours in the evening before I go to bed, and the notion of investing a lot of time into something and then it's not succeeding, that would be very, very frustrating. I like Baldur's Gate 3, I like all RPGs for explorations of the story and different types of character, not as a kind of tactical achievement challenge type thing. But that is nothing against people who have enjoyed playing Honor mode. Good on you. And if you completed it, wow, genuinely that is impressive. But I just don't think I'm going to do it. Which is okay. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. But that's what it is. That's what it is. But I'm playing. It's such a good game. I was tempted to say I've done 3 runs through. Runs through? It's not like Surgeons General. 3 run-throughs. And then I thought, well, I'll switch to something else. But then I immediately thought, oh, I want to play that. I want to do a Resist the Dark Urge run. And I had an idea for a half-orc character I wanted to play. So I'm playing it again. But still enjoying it. I mean, it says something about how damn good that game is. And I'm enjoying the fact that my brother has just started playing it. He has an Xbox, so he wasn't able to play it for a long time. And he's playing a solo run. And actually, he messaged me yesterday that my niece is wanting to do a couch co-op game with him. I did kind of say, please, for the love of God, make sure you've got the correct nudity filters on for that one. And I imagine there are some bits that he will not be playing in a couch co-op game with his kid. In terms of the relationship stuff, but no, that's cool. That's really, really cool. So I have a great time with that, and I'm enjoying little messages from him about how he's going. He's just about finished Act 1, and he's having an absolute whale of a time, which is great. What else is on the docket? Well, let's talk about gaming for a little bit. So I am almost done with Max Payne 2. I kind of hyped this up for a long time. I'm going to do a Max Payne 2 streamed game. And I forgot how damn short that game is. I've done 2 streams of it, and I've done Act 1, or I think it's Part 1, and then Part 2 in the second stream, and there's only 3 parts to it. So unless something goes weirdly wrong, I have to cancel the stream midway through, or there's a bit that I find especially difficult, I'm expecting to finish Max Payne 2 in the next gaming stream, which hopefully will be this week. Touch wood. So there's a question then of what I play next. And I haven't given this a huge amount of thought. I mean, I am open to suggestions on this one, and please chuck them in the chat, or chuck them in the Discord, or message me in places if you've got good ideas. The caveats on games I can play is that if it's a Steam game, I play on a Mac, so that limits quite a few options. I don't have a Steam Deck. If it's on console, I have an Xbox One. I don't have the most modern Xbox, so I can't play next-gen stuff unless it's on Game Pass and is streamable directly using Game Pass. So that does limit some options on that one, but I would quite like to play something I have not played before. The extra caveat on that one is if it's something I've not played before, or even if it's something I have. I don't like the idea of streaming RPGs. I know it works for some people, and again, I think it's that kind of honor mode versus non-honor mode thing. RPGs, I enjoy them for the story and the characters and the like, and I like to kind of immerse myself in it, and it feels a little weird, because streaming is performing, there's no getting around it. You're not just kind of getting the audiences there, you are constantly got that voice in your head saying, you need to talk, you need to talk, you need to talk, you need to vocalize what you're doing. And I feel weird doing that with an RPG. What we've got, Disco Elysium. If you go on RPGs on stream, maybe not. Well, I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look at it. I may, do some reading around and see what it's like. But I've heard a few people recommend that. I'm also tempted to play, on the Larian front. Is it Second Divinity game? It's the thing they made immediately before BG3. That's meant to be very, very good as well. So we'll see. Maybe I just need to, just get out of my shell a little bit with playing RPGs on stream. But I will investigate that one. So thank you, Papaya, for that recommendation. I do have a couple of things in the Steam library. If I don't come up with a brand new suggestion, or I decide not to do them for some reason, I picked up Stray a while back, which I don't think is terribly long, but that's the third-person cat exploring a cyberpunk city game, which I think will be fun. I am very tempted to play War for the Overworld, which is the spiritual successor to Dungeon Keeper. I think that could be an awful lot of fun. I do love the old Dungeon Keeper games. And it's a shame they've never remastered them, but I think as a spiritual successor, I think that could be an awful lot of fun to play. And there's shorter things I want to do as well. I've been saying this for a while. I want to do some Fighting Fantasy adventure game books on stream. That's not quite the same as a normal gaming stream, but I think that would be enjoyable. But I think I would have to schedule that well. So while I am spontaneously doing streams, that's probably less good, because I think doing an adventure game book would be more fun when you advertised it in advance a little bit and you know the fact there's going to be, doesn't have to be a huge crowd, but a few people who, if we reach a choice, can do some voting on which way we go with certain things. I think an audience participation element would be better for doing Fighting Fantasy or adventure game books. Have you considered some solo RPGs? I haven't. I've seen a few people do them. I think I would like to give it a try. So I think I may have to look at some of the games that Kat the Law Mistress and Cassie Mothwin have reviewed, because I know they've reviewed a lot of solo RPGs. So I'll have a look at that. I do have one that I picked up at Dragon Meat, which is a solo RPG where you play a raven, I think. So I think I may have to look at that. I'm just going to turn the volume down a little bit on the music. It's a very loud track just started, which is, just a little bit louder than everything else on that one. So that's a really good idea, Photo Style. I will look into that and find something that might be fun to do on that one. But I think I want to make sure I can commit the time to that one properly. Because I think you want to do a solo RPG in one session, which is fine, because there are definitely some short solo RPGs and some longer ones. So let's look. Honestly, I'm not too fond of this music track. Let's skip ahead. So I will definitely do that. What I do also want to do, I want to go even more retro as well with some gaming streams. We talked about things like Golden Axe a couple of streams ago, about franchises I want to revive, and I have purchased like the Mega Drive collection on so many media now. I know I've got it on Xbox. I might have it on Steam. I've got it on the Switch. So I think I will probably do some retro Mega Drive gaming as some one-off sessions. I mean, obviously it's not going to be a continuous thing. Well, not necessarily, obviously, actually. But I want to do a bit of that. Hello, Radiant Leaf. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. It's not raining for once here, which is good. I'm late because my dog wants to eat grass. Sure, why not? Why not? Also, I'm not sure I knew you had a dog, which is ridiculous. I associate you with cats. I'm sure I did know you had a dog. But I associate you with cats. For better or for worse. So if I did know, that memory is hidden behind many cats. But yeah. Animals eating grass. Always fun. Always fun. I hope that it fills in their stomach well. Or if they throw it, they do it outside. I'll just talk about the fact that I'm hoping to do some kind of one-off gaming streams for some retro stuff. I'll do a Golden Axe playthrough, because I've not played that for years, but I think I could pick it up pretty quickly. What have we got? We have an old lady we rescued from a shelter some 6-7 years ago. Elderly pets are cute and need all the love and affection. So I hope they're well, and I hope they had a good walk. Assume it was a walk with the eating of the grass. Who knows? It could have just been they were outside and decided to eat the grass because that's what animals do. Not thought about Golden Axe since I was a little boy. Wow, memories. Now I love the Golden Axe games. We had it on, my brother and I had it on the Mega Drive, and I've played emulated versions of it over the years. I think my first introduction to it was they did a Sonic the Comic that was released in the UK. It was a weekly comic that always had 3 stories in it. It had a Sonic story, and then they went through various other Sega franchises. I believe the first 3 was Sonic, Golden Axe, and Shinobi. So that was kind of my first introduction to Golden Axe before I even played the game, was the Sonic the Comic version of it. So I have a great fondness for Golden Axe, so I will definitely play that. But there are some longer Mega Drive games that are very fun. Things like Shining Force are very good, or there is a very bizarre game that I think of franchises that will be interesting to revisit. There is a game called The Story of Thor, which was called in a lot of places Beyond Oasis. I have no idea why it was called The Story of Thor, because it has nothing to do with mythology. I think it was called Beyond Oasis everywhere, and then for some reason in the UK they had to market it with a different name for some reason. Maybe was Oasis the drink a thing in the 90s? I don't know. There'll be some weird marketing reason why they had to rename it. They did. That's a great game. You play an adventurer who has like an armlet that can use elemental powers, and you end up acquiring, as friends, it's not quite a slave thing, fortunately, but you end up acquiring 4 elemental spirits. And it's not the 4 elements you'd think. There is a water spirit who's a fairy. There's a fire efreet. There is a shadow kind of creature who is like your shadow, but can also kind of stretch and grab things. And the one with the most personality is kind of it's a Triffidy Little Shop of Horrors kind of Venus flytrap guy, who is very cool. I think it was called Bo or something like that. Game was an awful lot of fun. I think it's in the Mega Drive collection on the Xbox, so if I ended up playing that, that would be multiple streams. Yeah, that may need to happen. It's a good game. Yeah, and the aesthetic had a kind of Aladdin-y vibe. So it was good. Yeah, I'm definitely going to revisit it. Let's make a note to myself on that one. Look at Story of Thor, because that was fun. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to need to happen at some point. But let's finish Max Payne 2 before I do a multi-stream gaming thing. Otherwise, I will never actually finish Max Payne 2. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, any recommendations you want to chuck in the Discord, please do, because it's always nice to have a notion of games that people think I would like, and people and things that you'd like to see people stream, because a lot of people tend to play the same sorts of games. Like you can see a million people playing Baldur's Gate 3 or a lot of various modern games right now. So especially if they are maybe a couple of years old, that'd be fun as well, because they'll probably be new for me, because my old Mac just wasn't coping with games, and because they weren't designed for it. Whereas my new Mac is pretty damn good with games if they're Mac compatible. If they're not, of course it won't be. The last thing on this one, and again, I'm not going to overpromise on this one, because that was kind of a theme of the first part of this, was Dave has a nasty habit of overcommitting to stuff and then realizing he is, a single human being with limited energy. There is another little project that I would like to get the ball rolling on, which I did a Ko-Fi post about a couple of weeks back. I would like to dabble in doing some short form interview stuff. I think it could be a lot of fun. It wouldn't be live stream, so it would be something I would record separately, probably through Zoom or something like that, and then I would put exclusively through YouTube and potentially turn into a podcast format. And if you've not seen the Ko-Fi post on that one, that is, again, short form. I would think it's going to be like 10, 11 questions. It will be a set series of questions, so in that sense similar to the in the Actors Studio questionnaire or the kind of Colbert questionnaire, that sort of thing. So it'll be the same questions every time. With the thought then that you get an interview that is a quarter of an hour max, which I think is a nice bite-sized format. One, it means that if you want to watch it or listen to it, you can do it during a break rather than having to sit down and settle in for a large piece of content, because the fact is there's not enough time in the world to watch everything. So I think short form stuff would be good, and I think that we could get some funny stuff out of it that would work well in the dreaded YouTube Shorts, TikTok-y type format stuff. So I think it could be a lot of fun, and it'll be a chance for me to expand the circle of people. There's a lot of people I would like to talk to on this one, and even if I can't do a big collaboration with them, it would be nice to reach out to some of these people who I'm kind of Twitter mutuals with, but it would be nice to have an actual conversation with them about some stuff. So that would be fun. But I'll go through the list of questions this one. So I brainstormed this the other week when I was away for work. So this is my current thoughts on the list of questions. I'm not 100% set in stone on them. I think the general vibe of them I quite like. They kind of alternate between what is your favourite sort of thing, phrased in different ways, and silly questions. And my notion would be that I'll share the questions with them in advance if they would like them, but they are going to be the same questions. So if they've ever watched a previous one or listened to a previous one, they'll know what the questions are. Because I don't want to put them too much on the spot with some of these, so it would be nice to give them a chance to think about them. But these are the questions. And I would welcome your thoughts on them. I'm not 100% set on the phrasing of some of them, but give you a gist. So, first one is a nice, simple, who are you? Essentially a chance for them to introduce their name or nom de creator, what they choose to go by if they don't use their actual name, and that's absolutely fine. As a bit of a spin on the introduction, the next question is, could you please describe the creative thing that you do or are known for using only words of one syllable? So I think giving them a chance to prep that one in advance is probably kind of, if they want to. If they would like to wing it, that is absolutely fine as well. But that covers introduction in a fun sort of way. Next question. If you were a pirate captain, what would be the name of your ship? Then what's your favourite mindless fun popcorn movie? Because I think that says a lot about people. You know, it's what are your go-to ones that you know is not necessarily a great movie from a, it's not a work of art, but what is that thing you go to or things you go to of, I want something that's just fun. My brain is fried. I want something that I've seen a million times and it's just mindless fun. So good to know about that. Next, if you could have a miniature version of a mythological creature as a pet, what would you choose? I think we'll get a lot of dragons on that one, but I think we'll get a lot of other weird and wonderful stuff as well. I have a hard time answering most of these questions without overthinking them to exhaustion. That's fine. Cerberus, that's a good answer. Cute little baby pygmy Cerberus, I think, would be adorable. I can't remember the name of the artist. Linda, her name, she's Croatian. She does the Hades and Persephone comic, which is very, very cute. There's a comic strip of that, which is Persephone, trying to fuss the three heads. But I've only got two hands. Absolutely, three good boys in one, 100%. But I like that as an answer. Cerberus is a good answer. Next one. If you had to sing a Disney song at karaoke, what would you choose? I think we'll end up with a lot of good fun answers, probably some villainous ones on that one. Love to know thoughts on this one. This next one is one that I put on Twitter a little while back and got some great answers. If you could have a magical item, a real-life magical item, to make your day-to-day life just a little bit easier, what would it be? So things like the coffee cup of infinite caffeine and stuff like that. Or there was a wonderful suggestion from Old Doodles, which I think was something like the headset of business speak. Or the microphone of business speak, so that if you're in a business meeting, you can say whatever the hell you like, and it translates to the listener as being in professional business speak. I really like that one. Next one is kind of a bit more of a serious one, and definitely requires a bit of thought, is what's a book that you think everyone should read? I think we'll get some interesting thoughts on that one and some good recommendations. Less sensible, the next one. What is your favourite swear word or phrase that's not actually swearing? I think a lot of people have these ones that, because, a lot of, people have favourite swear words or swear words they tend to go to. And if you are, especially if you're from the UK, I think people infix swearing into words like sem fucking sational and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people have these phrases that they use that aren't actually swearing. There's one there from Pariah. Sugar biscuits. I like it. My wife came up with one we're using around the house, especially with our little one, which is the exclamation of rat's pajamas, which I really like. So I love to hear these kind of cute little anecdotes related to some of these. And then we start to wrap it up with the final major question, which is, what is the creative thing that you've made or done that you're most proud of? So that's a chance for them to share those project or projects they've done that not necessarily the thing they're most famous for, but the thing that they thing or things that they're really proud of. And then we'll start to wrap it up on this one. I mean, I'm tempted not to do the where can people find you on the internet type thing, because the fact is it puts them on the spot of having to rattle off a load of usernames, where it's kind of, if I do that as a wrap-up question, it'll probably be which socials can we find you on, and then we'll just have all the links in the description, because trying to get someone to remember I'm this on this, and I've got an underscore in the username on that one, and someone stole that one on TikTok, so I have to be this instead. It's easy just to say which socials can I find you on, and let's have all the links in the stuff below. So that's my thinking on this one. 10-11 questions, some a bit more serious, a lot of them very, very silly. I think we'll give it a good insight into the worlds of creators. As far what we've got here for post, as far as do they get to see the questions beforehand, make it a mix, let them prep for some as a surprise. That I think it kind of works on that. It's one of those that I think inevitably, if you're going to be interviewed, I've been interviewed on a couple of kind of podcasts, that's not a word, podcasts and YouTube stuff, that inevitably you watch some previous stuff that they've done to just get a feel of what they're like as an interviewer. And inevitably, if I use the same questions for everyone, and I do kind of want to use the same questions for everyone, they're going to do that anyway. So I think I'll give them the choice of that one. Like, I'll kind of say, look, I can give you the questions in advance, you did the same questions in advance. There are a couple you probably want to prep for, and I think that's what you're going through. Book everyone should read, prepare cuss word, pop quiz. I think I would say, look, even if you don't want to, spoil some of the questions, these are ones you probably want to think about in advance. And clearly I'll edit it. I mean, it's not going to be live streamed, so whatever it ends up being, I will end up editing out a lot of ums and ahs. If someone needs a bit more time to think about something, I will do that. Potentially someone wants to circle back around to one at the end, I'll just insert the other answer into the correct place to make it work. But I think it'll be fun. I think, like I said, bite-sized interview, something that you can listen to in a podcast format, if you're nipping down to the shop or something, rather than something you've got to settle down for an hour, because, I doubt my little silly interview thing is going to, bump the 45-minute, hour-long show that you're currently binging. So I think bite-sized interview thing could be an awful lot of fun. Okie doke. I think let's start to wrap that up. I thank you so much for joining me today, and apologies again that I was off all of last week. It wasn't the original plan, but I think if I ploughed through, I would be very, very tired. So thank you so much to people I can see. Thank you, Photostyle. Thank you, Pariah. Thank you, Radiant Leith. Thank you, Anya, Lalioni Cosplay. I know you're just lurking and in a meeting, but thank you anyway. And thank you to anyone else who is just lurking out there and not chatting, and I don't know who you are. I appreciate all of you. You're awesome. No need to apologise. Resting in life our priority. I know that, you know that, but we're all terrible at working ourselves to death. So I still feel the need to apologise because I'm insecure like that. But I appreciate it. I really do, and I appreciate you all. You are a wonderful, wonderful bunch of people. You all know where to find me on the socials. The main places are Twitter, DC Bradshaw RPG, and dcbradshaw.com on Blue Sky. If you would like to follow me, please check out my Ko-Fi as well. You can just follow me if you don't want to subscribe. So if you don't already do that, please do. If you would like to subscribe, it's £3 a month. I'm enjoying the new habit I'm getting into with the weekly posts and the stuff I'm doing with the kind of revamped Ko-Fi. So if you would like to support me, that would be amazing. If you can't or don't want to, not going to judge. A follow would be great. Equally, please follow me on Twitch and YouTube. It helps to expand my audience, and while I am happy to talk to a small room, it would be nice to get myself further out there. That would be good. All right, let's see if there is anyone about who is streaming. K of the double K is still streaming, but I suspect he's going to be wrapping up because he normally finishes at 1, so I would have thought he's not going to go much longer if he's going to do that. Let's see if we can raid Tig Madison, though. So let us do that if Tig settings will let us. So let's try that. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And in a second we'll go raid, and then I will speak to you all very, very soon. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.